Hey guys, welcome back to Modern Craft. It's been a long time since I've been able to sit down in the studio. I am back and I'm ready to bring y'all a slew of amazing women that are in the industry. So sit down, grab yourself some coffee, grab yourself a drink, relax, because we have a treat for y'all today. I have the pleasure to have my friend, Miss Holli Mostella, here in the studio with me.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. Thanks for coming on. You are a perfect example of somebody who has taken your passion and your hobby and turned it into your line of work. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's inspiring for lots of women and men out there. And I just kind of wanted to bring you on and let you talk about, first and foremost, who is Holli Mostella?
So I am a everyday crafter. I'm a mama of two. I love everything from Cricut to glitter to metal stamping. I do a little bit of everything, but my favorite thing that I do is to encourage other people to find their own happiness. So I think that this is a good fit.
That's amazing. That is amazing and a true blessing, because a lot of people have a passion. They love working with their hobby, but they're just a little kind of scared to take the leap. So when did you know that this was your calling?
Yeah, so it's definitely a scary leap to take, but I was just postpartum with my second daughter and suffered severe postpartum depression. And one thing that I'm a big advocate for is mental health. And so I began crafting again because I've crafted my whole life, but I
Mm-hmm.
began crafting again after my daughter was born for my mental health. And I started making just small sales here and there, just enough to feel like I was contributing to the household, because I felt like I had lost my identity as a mother of two. And
Wow.
that's what my, role was. I was just a mom, and I wanted to be more than that. I wanted to be somebody that made an impact. And I know that I do make an impact on my children, but I knew that my calling and my passion was bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I took small sales and I did that for a while, but I realized that I enjoyed the education part of it. I love teaching people how to do things. And so I made the switch. It was the leap, kind of a leap of faith. I'd left a job that I had worked at for almost 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and now I am a content creator.
Creating something with your own heart and your hands and putting yourself into art is very therapeutic, and there's something very rewarding about doing that. And then when someone wants to physically give you money for it, it just fills you, like, okay, with this courage that you say, okay, I might have something good here going. I'm going to see where I go with this. And you go a little bit farther and you go a little bit farther. When did your hobby turn from hobby to business? When did it switch?
Yeah. So I did the small sales from the kitchen table for probably about 2 years. And I knew that it was time to make the switch when I was investing more time educating people on their Cricut machines
Mm-hmm.
than working on my side hustle, than working on the money making part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that it was time to fulfill. And so I did my Christmas orders one year, and I set a goal and a deadline for myself. And it was Christmas orders about 3 years ago. And I said, after this, going to be done. I'm not going to take any more orders. I'm going to solely switch to education. And so I created my Facebook group, Cricut Craft Life. And it just became a safe place, a good solid community where people could come together and create without judgment, all skill levels. And that's where I got a lot of fulfillment for a really long time. And it grew, and it grew big. And I
Yeah.
was so thankful. So then we
It
did a
was one of
break
the
off
biggest
group.
groups that I saw when I first started getting into Tumblrs and I found your group. It was gigantic. And it was just, it's very overwhelming of like the amount of people that all had a similar interest. And you were at the core of that.
Yeah, I found a group of people that loved to craft and just wanted that safe place of kindness. I was in a lot of Facebook groups, but I found myself lacking the support that I felt that I needed as a crafter. And so I created my own. And I love when people venture off and kind of create their own path. We've got to live, and we've got to push ourselves. And really, in this crafting world, that's what crafting is about, is pushing yourself a little bit farther, learning new things, helping
Exactly.
other people out. And so I love the community that crafting has.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that because I am a firm believer that you don't really know your true self. Like you go through this journey of life and you're like, well, let me entice my curiosity. Let me push myself just a little bit farther. Let me go a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And then sometimes you can like find pieces of yourself that you never knew existed, you know? And so I completely know where you're going with that, because when I had my kids, I kind of went through that whole thing where, well, what do I do now? Well,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do now? Okay. I I took care of the baby. I had the baby. I took care of the baby. The baby needs me. I take care of the baby. I wake up again tomorrow. I do the same thing over again. And it just, you go into this cycle. And I know what you mean when you say you kind of lost your identity. That those are the exact same words I told my husband when I said, I feel like that's all I am.
Yeah.
It's like something for someone else. But who am I for me? You know?
Yeah.
So I said, okay. And I remember going to Hobby Lobby and it was crazy. And I remember getting all this junk, you know, and I came home and I threw it all on my dining room table. My husband looked at me. He's like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And he's like, okay. I said, I need to be creative. I need to make something for myself. I need to make something beautiful for myself. And he was like, okay. And so I started with that one cup, and then the next thing, and I found that resin was like, and I say it's all, resin is in my veins and glitter is in my soul. So it's just like, I need to be able to, that's my medium. Some people watercolor, some people sculpt, some people draw, some people, whatever it is, some people make music, whatever it is that pours out of them, that is what poured out of me. And so it came onto that. And from there I said, is this what you were trying to tell me, God, this entire time? Just stop going out there and getting the door slammed in your face when you went to look for a job. It was right here all along. And I said, okay. And so I
Yeah.
just trusted my gut and I just jumped in there. And look at, I'm now the glitter person that teaches resin pour, and I'm a teacher. And I connect with you on that because I totally know where you came from and like what you felt that entire journey. It's an adrenaline rush. And some days you're like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Did I just go
Yeah.
out there and just get a job? No, like strap in, get ready, because you don't know where the ride's going to take you.
Right. That's one thing that I talk about with my I have a small group on Patreon, and we have a small Facebook group. And I started that as a way to really connect with the small group because the group did grow so large. So with the Patreon group that I have, it's like a sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
and we talk business tips, and we talk all kinds of like everything. And that's what I tell them.
The group that I am in with you, Craft Life Angels, that group is very supportive. And let me say, I have my own group that's very large, and I also have a very smaller group that is very like the sisterhood that we say. We call ourselves a cult. We're a cult. You know? And so it's just like, we kind of stick to ourselves, and we share, we laugh, we cry. And so it's just, we talk about whatever it is that we're going through, and you get to meet these people. And granted, yes, you know, they exist in your phone, but they live in your heart, you know? So it's just like, oh my goodness, you're like, so-and-so. And you feel like you know these people because you are so close with them. And I will say that you are a very, very strong leader, and you are connected with every single person that commented when I was on that live with you. You knew them by name, you knew little backstories about them, you connected with them. And so I can see where the passion is when you have this little group of people, and you are just constantly pouring yourself to these people because they come to you and they want you to teach them, you know, and you're comfortable teaching. You don't keep all the information to yourself. You want to show, you want to teach, and you want to thrive with strong women. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely support the community over competition. I don't believe in holding secrets or, you know, there is nothing about building my brand or building the little craft empire that I have that I would keep to myself.
Right.
And, you know, talking about making the jump, when I made the jump, we bought a Cricut. I had sold the other one to pay bills, and having 2 kids is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we decided that, you know, I needed to get back into that, we had bought it on a credit card. And at the time, we were living on credit cards. We had 0 money in the bank, 2 small children. We were really struggling. And so that, you know, when I did my small sales, I felt like I had to contribute. And so we went from that, and, you know, we talked about the journey and strapping, it's a wild ride, to living on the credit cards, to now Matt was able to retire from his job that he was at for almost 20 years.
Wow.
And he works for me, with me.
I think that's starting to become Mr. Sparkles over here. He's starting to just realize, I think I need to just work for you.
Yeah. You know, I have to have a team member, and the best team member I can have is my life team member, you know. So yeah, I'm a terrible boss though. I'm so hard to work for, but I hold things to such a high standard it drives him crazy. But now, you know, we're able to grow as a family because of this. So I'm really, really thankful that I did take that leap, even though it was scary.
Yeah,
It was worth
it's this weird magnetism that you feel. Like when people say they get this feeling that they need to change something. I always say, listen to the voice that's in you. See the signs around you. If your instinct tells you to do something, try it, and then try something else. It's going to lead you to where you have to be. I'm a firm believer God is talking to me all the time, you know, and he's just like, you need to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to do this. And he told me, do not hold all your information to yourself. You have a lot to give. And isn't it a much happier place when you're surrounded by people who are sharing that same interest with you, rather than having a party by yourself? So the more you give, the more you're going to get. And prove me right. He proved to me that those words right there were so valuable to me, because that's when I said, you know what? I am going to show people how to ink. I am going to show people how I do this resin technique, how I get those cells. And when I did, it opened up a different door. And I think that is very, very powerful, that when you give, you get more in return. That's what I think.
1,000%.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, since you've talked about your groups, everyone's going to want to know, where can they go to find Holli's groups and be a part of Holli's circle? And just tell us how we can follow you and stay connected with you.
Yeah, so you can connect with me on Facebook at the craft group Cricut Craft Life. I also have a Tumblr group, Craft Life Tumblers. You can find me on Instagram at Holli Mostella. You can find me on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
on Holli Mostella. And you can find my Patreon at patreon.com/ guess what? Holli
Holli
Mostella.
Mostella. That's awesome. Okay, Miss Holli. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in, sitting down with us, and just kind of just spilling your guts basically, and just telling us how you created this empire based on following your heart.
Yeah.
So
Thanks a lot. And I think I love your podcast. And so to be a part of it is something awesome for me. So thank you for including me.
awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. All right, guys. We are going to let Ms. Holli get back to work, and stay tuned. We have more to come. Thanks for catching us. We'll see y'all later. Bye.